In a world of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
Hello, friends. How are we? Oh, that's the screen. Hang on. There we go. Hello, friends. How are we?
Here we go. What's up?
What's going on? Hello, everyone. Hello, ghouls and goblins, because it's Halloween Eve. How about that?
Spooky season. See?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got I have a ghost on my arm that's covered up by my long sleeve right now. See, I had it tattooed on me like an adult.
Oh man, well, I don't like needles. I hate needles. They bother me so much.
They bother you so much.
So I scratched my fucking massive chest tattoo. How we doing, bro?
I'm chilling. This week, friends, we are going to be talking about the almighty Black Sun. And some first impressions for it. I only saw the first episode. You only watched the first two episodes. So
yes.
We're just going to be talking super first impressions, how we feel about it, and also kind of reboots in general, because I guess the main topic for this week was already going to be the first and the next. So we're just kind of talking remakes, reboots, all of the success, the failures of them, that kind of thing. And just kind of how we feel, and talk about the two first and next movie as a unit, as they are in general. So
they are quite if they're a pair, they're the most fraternal twins I have ever met. Like two different movies that could have never been made. Holy crap. But we'll get there.
Yeah, they're interesting, that's for sure. Have you been up to anything fun Toku-wise in the past week or so?
I mean, in terms of Toku, with all the announcements, and I mean, I don't know about you, but it seems like Toku has been creeping up in the news in regular world, not just niche world, you know what I mean? Like, there was an instance, and I guess we'll talk about it in the news section, but ever since that moment, it's like every time I open up my news section, they're mentioning something about Black Sun, and I'm like, whoa, this is good, this is great. But now I'm gonna see if this is going to either like play into overhype, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think this is very similar to food. First off, as Toku fans, we're eating fucking good this year. Let's be real here. This year we're eating fucking good. And you know, it's one of those things where at this point I feel like any press is kind of good press. Not that we've had really bad press since the whole Revice premiere.
Yeah. Not
that I know of anyone. I'm sure there's something fucking out there. You know, it's going to come out that like the Black Sun actor like eats children or something.
Give it 10 years, like 10 years.
But like,
we got to at least get
it's to be fair, that's in line with the character from the first episode that I'm getting.
Like there was such a weird moment watching this, because first I'm like, you know, the trepidation of like, this better be good. This has to nail it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. And as for first takes, you know, you get this sense that I guess when they were filming this, they really took into account a lot of what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
And it's very injected in that in terms of their plot, I think, because, you know, 2 episodes in, we don't know shit, but I'm seeing that it's very meta.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way, because they're not going to the extent that they could. They're really making it strictly focused on this whole kaijin human separation thing.
Yeah.
It, you know, allegory for whatever the hell you want it to be, because that's just how general it is. But still.
And that's pretty common in Kamen Rider, honestly. A lot of people are like, oh, it's being woke, and it's like, okay, but it's not. That's
what I mean. Like, it's alluding to it, of course, but you can do that with fucking anything. So, like, basically, from what this is, it's more like you're, I don't know, that's what's going on in the world, so that we can get this story right now. It's not quite main thing of what I gather. It's just what's going on.
I used a particular word when we were watching it earlier. So I was watching it with my partner. She was hanging out on the couch with me while we were watching. Also, to find this fucking show was a nightmare, by the way.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun. I had to open it.
I
found a link on Twitter that I sent to you that I had found, and I had to add it to my watch list just so I could watch it on my TV, because if you search any version of Kamen Rider Black Sun in any shape or form, everything but the actual show will pop up. I found out Kamen Rider Kuga is streaming thanks to Tokusatsu on there. And so is Fies, apparently. So that's cool.
I mean, now I have 01 saved on my watch list. I have all that now. It's like, oh, thanks.
That was good enough. I mean, it makes sense. It's Tokusatsu. So it's delisted, apparently, Peacemaker is saying. That's why. But yeah, I want to get into that more, but I also want to hold off on that because
we don't know much, and all we can say for right now is like from the first episode, it is the next step after Amazon's. This is fully what they should go in the direction of after something like Amazon's.
Yes,
and wow.
Yeah.
And
I meant
wow.
I should clarify. I meant we can get into that because I'll move that back in the docket here. I don't want to get too into it right now. And then
I know. Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that this week I saw that there is it's kind of a news thing too. There's the 20th anniversary for Abba Ranger. Abba Ranger. That's pretty dope. I'm down for that, and y'all better be prepared when fucking Blade is getting, a fucking 20th anniversary. Y'all better be fucking ready. So, there's they call it Triassic in Dino Thunder. I don't know if there's a new form. I think they said they're getting a new form of some kind.
Oh, I see it. Oh, that's pretty.
There's the Triassic one.
I'm gonna drop it in the Discord. Maybe this is it.
Okay.
You guys can tell me. But, I like it.
No, that's Triassic form.
Okay,
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know if that was exclusive to Dino Thunder. But that's the Triassic form, I believe, unless I'm misremembering it, which is always possible.
Hold on, it says...
Because that was the Battleizer he got in Dino Thunder, I'm pretty sure, because he had the Triassic shield.
Maybe this is an instance where the Japanese took over from the Americans. This says Bakuryu Sentai Abba Ranger 20th.
No, that is a new form, okay.
Oh, dope, I like it.
It looks like Triassic to me. I need to see this side by side, actually.
Okay, hold on. You said it's Triassic form?
Yeah, I believe it's called the Triassic form. Triassic Triumph. Nope, I lied. It looks completely different. You are correct. All of you are correct. I am wrong once again.
That never happens. Yeah, it does. Just a little bit, but only in the whole sense that it's not the whole thing. Okay, so but I like it. It's,
I've never seen a Bar Ranger. I've only seen Dino Thunder, so I just thought it was cool.
Are those supposed to be like fangs or like the Stegosaurus plates?
Oh, no. They have what they call Super Dino mode. Essentially, yeah. And so they get like it's you can see the diamond pattern on their uniforms, and the spikes literally just kind of like grow out of them, and that's their super dino mode.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
okay with that. That's nice.
Dope.
Okay. But yeah. So we other than all this stuff that's been creeping up in my life with Toku, I've just been inspired because of lately with the cosplay shit.
Yeah.
I'm looking into buying shit so that I could try, because it's really not too expensive if you focus on what you're gonna build one thing. Like I think I'm gonna try to make like a chess piece, and I was looking at the foam board and all that. And I can probably manage it, but if you see my house on fire, then I tried to make a Kamen Rider suit.
Yeah, my thing is like I feel like I'd be good until I have to spray paint things, and then you're gonna find me face down in the fucking whatever I'm making.
Yeah, I mean that's probably where I'll have to stop. Like I'll probably end up doing like fucking watercolors or something.
And then you just have like that resin color fucking thing hanging out.
Just rough as hell.
Yeah. I was gonna mention something in the line with that, but I genuinely can't remember. So if I do, I'll let you know.
Cool.
I literally completely fucking blanked on that. Holy hell. Okay. Anyway, so other Toku things. I did something else Toku this week. What the fuck did I do? And I was like, damn, I'm gonna mention that.
This is why we
Kaiju number 8. I read Kaiju number 8, volume 1. That's what it was. Yes. So Kaiju number 8 is the new shonen. I wouldn't say it's the hotness. I feel like Chainsaw Man has kind of taken that over. But Kaiju number 8 is literally what it sounds like. You have, imagine an Ultraman cleanup crew. And the main character is a janitor who is stuck with cleaning the toilets, essentially, is the equivalent to his job.
It's meant for like a more mature audience, right? It's not strictly...
Absolutely. No,
okay,
it is.
I thought so.
But it's cool. So what happens is Japan is very used to getting invaded by kaiju at this point. They're like, I don't know why they keep targeting us, but they have a whole response crew. They have people that are, like soldier type people that are made to hunt kaiju. And they also have cleanup crews for the kaiju when it comes to both the body parts and the actual city itself. Our main character, whose name escapes me at the moment, but he is essentially always sequestered to the intestines to clean, and that is like the stinkiest part of the monster, apparently.
Oh, great.
Because poop.
Okay, I got you. Right, because the poop.
Because
right.
poop. But he's going to do what he wants. And so he is actually childhood friends, in typical manga shonen style. He is childhood friends with the most badass soldier lady on the team, the renowned hero kind of thing. And
soldier lady's fine.
Soldier lady's fine. Yep, she's cool. She's dope. I haven't really seen her do anything, but she's dope. But she's your picture perfect Captain America type soldier person who's like the poster child to everything this organization does. And they made a promise when they were kids that they would go to the top together, kind of thing. They would join the super soldier force. And
one of those
he failed out of the test and became this janitor thing, and et cetera, et cetera. So at one point, it's like a bug worm type thing crawls into the main character's mouth and transforms him into a kaiju, but like a small, 12-foot kaiju as opposed to like a 40-foot kaiju. He just kind of grows. He gets I'll find a picture of it. He gets this he looks really cool.
Okay.
But he gets this cool, he looks almost like a hollow, honestly.
So is it the parasite that's the kaiju or him?
He turns into the kaiju. It is this parasite that has turned him into a kaiju.
Okay, so the parasite's not like sentient. It just
we're not talking like Parasite, like that show.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
it's not like his hand that is talking to him, kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's really, really fun.
I heard that it's because it's it's focused more towards like our age. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very,
so it's like
very hollow.
It's definitely like a hollow Ichigo with ooh.
Yep.
Like a Oni body. I dig that.
Yeah.
Like a Oni from Onimusha.
So he transforms into this thing inside of the hospital because he was attacked and hurt by something. I forget what it was off the top of my head, honestly. But he transforms to this hospital and he has superhuman strength now and doesn't know how to control it, and some really fun antics kind of ensue where he goes to open the window and throws the entire window and the side of the building off. And it was a fun, and there's like an old dude who's just like trying to get back to his bed, and like he opens up the elevator and this big thing's just like hanging into the wall. And he's like,
I dig it. Okay.
The whole time the main character's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, please, oh my god. It was fun. The first volume ends with him kind of like going into hiding, and you find out that he can like turn it on and off, kind of thing. And he kind of he disappeared for a few weeks to do that. It's fascinating. It's very cool, very interesting, and I'm excited to read more, honestly.
I take it there's a bunch of, typical shonen subplots, or is it just something completely different?
In the first volume, it has big shonen energy. It definitely is like, your hero he's kind of this, he's a janitor, and then he gets superpowers, but it's also like, of course he was like this super motivated kid at one point, and this brings him back to being a super motivated kid, that kind of thing. He's like 24, I say kid lately, but he also gets like an underling, like a junior, who is also training to be in this defense force because you have to pass a test, kind of thing, kind of like the hero test in My Hero, to get into this program. And this underling guy is like, I should know all aspects of this company before I joined that, so I'm going to join as an intern for the janitors, and you're my boss now. And they kind of like form a little bond because he finds out he wanted to do it at some point, and they kind of push each other on. Couple cool moments where like big kaiju attack, and then the main character transforms into his kaiju form and like punches the shit out of them. Yeah, like big, like legit Ultraman. Like we're talking like Godzilla first couple forms slithering around. He just punches it in the mouth and sends it rolling.
Okay, I'm with that.
It's kind of
now
cool.
This isn't. So they do like visceral shit then in the fights. Like they're not holding back. Like he's ripping limbs off, or is it like just?
It's not quite
energy
like
beams?
It's not energy beams. It's not quite like Guyver. It's kind of like there's not really. I haven't seen like an Amazon's level thing. Like here's actually a really good picture of him punching something. Put this in there as well. If you guys are watching at home on the YouTubes or anything, you'll see the image I'm pulling up here. So this is kind of like a good representation of, you get distortion, you get some blood in there. Like there's definitely some like exploding pieces, but it's not like gushing blood. You know what I mean?
Jesus, what the hell is he punching?
That's a kaiju.
Giant,
yeah, don't ask questions
baby
you don't want the answer to.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun and very cool and interesting to see it be like Ultraman, but he turns into a kaiju kind of thing. I'm kind of about it. I'm going to pick up the next couple volumes, but I made the mistake of starting like 4 series in one. This one just happens to be very Toku related. Like I also started Chainsaw Man. Still in the middle reading Hell's Paradise and No Gun No Life. Just too many things.
I don't know those last two, but okay. All right, we'll catch up with those. Yeah. No, but this design overall, I really dig it. Like I think it's because of its huge hollow calls. Like, but honestly.
Here's one of the covers that speaks to me on a primal level because reasons. Because reasons. So,
No, I understand. Totally. Totally. Hey, totally unrelated and completely different. Did you see the latest My Hero episodes?
I did not. I haven't watched any of them yet.
Mirko's kicking ass.
Yeah.
You know? Just totally unrelated.
Totally unrelaid. My favorite character for reasons. For very obvious reasons. Goodness. Yeah. So that's a kaiju number 8. Please go check it out. I think they're up to 4 or 5 now. Their volumes out. That's not too far along. So still pretty early. You can jump in if you really want to, because I know I get pretty overwhelmed with anything over like 15, 20.
It'll be another year or 2 before they'll get an anime, right?
That's kind of what I feel. This feels like it has potential to be like Catch Fire kind of thing. And if it does, that's one more Toku thing that people put on the map, and I'm all for it. This could be the next Futo PI kind of thing, which apparently is doing gangbusters too. So
buddy.
Buddy.
Rightfully so too, because holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful show. So,
but it's like, here's how I'll do. Check this out. So you know how we might get that anime in a year or 2, but we got the new Bleach one that's started. That's fantastic. Do you think they'll change the ending
of Bleach?
Yeah.
No.
Not in terms of like plot, but in terms of how.
Yes. So Titties Cujo has already expressed that he wants to expand some things. So I'm hoping, we see a lot of the stuff that was kind of truncated in the manga kind of drawn out a little bit more. I mean, that's what it was, right? Like it was. So for anyone, and I'm not going to go super hard on Bleach because I feel like people don't like when we go off on crazy,
no, we can.
super
no,
deep
let's
tangents.
Do it.
But I feel like I know one of my issues with the final arc is, it was supposed to be longer than the Aizen arc, and it was a third of it. And then all of a sudden it started to feel like it was a third of it. And things were happening off screen that seemed really important, like characters that are super fan favorites getting brand new, super awesome abilities, and them just not showing up with those abilities. Things like that seemed kind of integral to the hype. And also,
how do you really feel about Kira's rebar ribs, though? How you dig those? That was the one thing. His rebar ribs, that new shit that he got.
Kira, from the short novel or whatever it is. That thing?
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure. So you know how Hisagi and Shinji got their own little short stories? I think he got one too. That's what it is.
Kira did?
Yeah, Kira. Shinji, yeah. I think it's whatever.
No, I know. Yeah.
Okay. So they both got one where they get their it shows off their bankais kind of thing. I think Kira got something like that too. And if you guys didn't know, because we don't really talk about Bleach that much, Kira is one of my favorite characters. He's one of my favorite Zanpakutos. I think it's fucking sick. I think that thing is so cool.
That's what pisses me off so much, is that I wanted to know what his bankai was going to be, because his Zanpakuto alone, you know, Wabisuke is such a cool idea and executed okay, but it can only be executed the same way. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's fine. And you know how you execute that? You execute them. That's how you fucking do it.
Fair.
You put that hook around their neck and up that gravity to 9,000 and watch the fucking blood go.
Kira was the first one to be like, all right, you're done.
Yeah, no, you're fucking done here.
Yeah, you're good.
I hope they change some things, because, you know, I'm not going to spoil the arc for anyone who hasn't seen it or is just waiting to watch it in the anime. Some characters die that I think very unjustly. Some characters have amazing moments where they get bitched real hard and it's hilarious. Fuck you. And then some other characters, honestly, they don't get the respect they deserve. And it kind of sucks because like
so quickly.
But like on the sense of they've been building up to this moment for
I know exactly
700 chapters, and they finally get a new ability or unlock an ability, or you know, we finally see something that we've never seen before because we thought they may not have one, and you know that happens, and then it's like, okay, but what? So yeah.
It goes with the whole theme I'm trying to tie back into, is this idea of changes to a plot. Yeah. So these movies that we're getting into today, these are origin stories that are retelling the show origin of characters that we know very fucking well. Yeah. And what they managed to do was hyper condense those origins to vague retellings of kind of what might have happened. And then heavily focusing on J-drama and horror movies. So like,
I think so we're talking about Kamen Rider the first and the next. Because Black Sun came out, and we'll get to like a little more in-depth first impressions kind of thing. But the first and the next were really, I don't want to say the first reboots, but the first, like, I can remember, like, hard reboots of Kamen Rider that came out. Right. And, you know, and that's not to say that they haven't brought back, like, cameos and things like that. There's, like, the Legendary 7 movie. You know,
they were going with the idea that this is the new story for them.
Yeah, this was, like, reboot the Marvel Universe. This is the new 52 kind of thing. And same characters, you know, similar stories, but they kind of put a new coat of paint on it, change everything up. And I think they did a good job of putting 100-something episodes into 2 hour-and-a-half, 2-hour movies. I think they did a really good job because you get the points you need, right? Like a lot of Kamen Rider is weekly formulaic episodes that don't really partake to the entire story overall.
Right.
And so let me get the blurb here for the first. So it's 2005 Tokusatsu superhero film. A film is a reboot adaptation of the Kamen Rider series from 1973. There are many differences in the film and the original program. Some of these, however, are closer reliance on the original Kamen Rider manga as opposed to the show itself. And it was released November 5th, 2005. And then the sequel was released in 2007. And you made an interesting point where it focuses on J-drama and horror. And I want to talk about that for a second, because while both movies, the next is an actual sequel to the first, same characters, same everything. It's just they add V3. So we get Takeshi Hongo and oh my God, I am being the biggest poser in the world already. Ichimonji. Good Lord. We just lost 20 fans right there.
It's all right. We got them back. I got you.
Thank you. Ichimonji, and I'm tired, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm exhausted.
It's all good.
You know, they start off as cyborgs fighting for Shocker. It didn't forget that one. Almost did for a second. That was bad.
No. but so
yeah, the first one is what I was saying is the first one is very much J-drama. It's almost soap operatic.
You can literally condense the henshins and all the fight sequences to about like
40 minutes,
half an hour.
It's 40 minutes because the video is playing on the screen right now for everyone at home.
You have there is there is a compilation on YouTube. Yes, so literally of a movie that's an hour and 45-minute runtime. Only 40 of that is spliced.
The rest of it is slow
there.
motion riding on the motorcycle.
There are a couple instances with him riding the bike though that are dope as hell.
Mm-hmm.
The action sequences that they do execute are fucking great. I'm not gonna take it away because the two things that I love about this movie that helped me watch it were the fucking designs and the payoff for the fights. The designs. And I'm going to see if I can find a couple pics here. Here's one straight up.
So they are very reminiscent of the originals, which is cool, but they have the new coat of paint. Peacemaker saying all he remembers of the next is that it's overwhelming need to smash cut to a ringish movie in the middle of their scenes. Yeah, that's kind of the horror aspect we were talking about.
That's it. But that's what hooked me, man. You know, I was digging between the two. Obviously, I prefer the second one just because of the horror theme to it. And I felt like the characters were a little more invested because the muscles were stretched. They could ready to do it in a lot of ways because there was a lot more movement. These fight sequences in the sequel blew the first one way out of the water, bro. Oh my god,
I forgot until just now. So in the first, I'm just looking at the compilation as you're talking.
Go for it.
You know, Hongo starts off as a bad guy and then kind of like
so
overrides his own programming.
They play into that where he starts off working for Shocker. He's robbing a bank at the beginning. He fucking punches. Two things bother me that I found out behind the scenes about this movie, and maybe I'll save that for later. But he does a rider punch, so to speak. He never says it, but he punches through a bank wall and a bank floor to escape, and then fucking. What does he do? Like a free dive out the fucking window?
So that's what I was just talking about. What I was about to talk about. He hits the ground and bounces, and it looks like he breaks his leg.
Yeah, that was a bad fall.
Yeah, that looks real bad on his ankle, which Hongo actually broke his leg in the original show doing something like that.
Maybe it was a nod to that.
So Ichimonji takes over as, Nigo because of that. Hongo is put out of commission for a few weeks. So that's
all right. Hongo got taken out like episode 10, 11-ish.
Really? Was that early? I always thought it was way later.
Ichimonji took over till episode 36.
Dang.
Yeah, bro. Like he took over for the. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then for the next 60 episodes, they tag team that shit.
Yeah, and that's how the beauty.
And that's Kamen Rider.
that's Bugman. That's Karate Bugman.
That's Karate fucking Bugman, friends.
But in this one, the Hongo we get is a professor at this college who's, I don't know if it's a standard thing in college to be this haughty aesthetic type of person, but
I am. Yep.
He definitely is like touting about the significance of beauty.
He walks in slow motion.
It is he's like preaching substantive things. I'm like, that's not okay. Sure, beauty can help people feel better. I get it in concept, but how do you prove that? Like, how are you proving that?
Because you worked for the bad guy, and then you saw beautiful snowflakes, and then you became a good guy. Because beauty.
The reason why, the the reason why they harp on this shit is because it's literally what snaps him out of his fucking mind control.
Yep.
During like another one of his assassinations. Yep. He's he's holding up his target, who is a significant character to the main chick in the movie, Midorikawa, something like that. Whatever her name is. She's just there to be the chick that he's trying to save the whole movie. She's like the core of the love triangle. Yes, she's the core of the love triangle, and she does nothing to help the situation.
It will fuse their brotherly bond for all eternity.
She literally is just like, I could say something and end this whole thing, but no, I'm just gonna let the confusion of the whole situation fuck everything up. And I get it that Ichimonji looked like her ex that died, but that's a physical thing. He's a dick. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like he.
The funny thing is, when I saw this movie back in 2000, whatever, I don't think it was 2005. I didn't see it till a little bit later. When I first saw this movie, I had big Samurai X vibes from this opening because, like, the fiance dies in the snow, and of course the hero is the one who confronts her later. And I was like, if Ichimonji gets a fucking cross-shaped scar on his cheek, I am retiring.
I mean, it is just, it's so to the numbers that if you're saying this is the manga, is the manga this to the numbers? Because I don't know that.
I honestly never read the manga. Personally,
Okay.
I never read Skullman either.
Whatever they're going off, this
is based more on the manga as opposed to the show.
Ichimonji in this one is this really overbearing, crass, not even crass, because he's not like over the top. He's just overbearing with his flirtation. Yes, but like to the point where it's beyond creepy. It's like it's creepy and then it's him. You know what I mean? Like
it's creepy and then it's kind of pathetic and sad, but also like weirdly intriguing to watch. I don't know how to describe it, honestly.
For example,
it's like watching a car crash. You're like, why? Stop.
Her fiance or whoever died. She's at a bar at some time later. I don't really know the timeline either. But he's there. He sees her. She confuses him. He says, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Mm-hmm. Plays all that off and says, "Hey, but give me your number. Let's talk." All that disgusts her. She walks away. As she's walking away, he goes, "Hey, I'm just kidding. I actually am your dead fiance. Ha ha ha. Let's go for a ride." What? And she gets in the car, and then they go a step further, which I don't know. In the car, they have the conversation where she's like, he goes, "Why'd you come with me? You know I'm not your fucking fiance." And she's like, "I know." And I'm like,
emoji is like, "Holy shit, this worked." What?
I'm like, oh my god, this movie. Oh my god, this movie. I was grateful for every henshin sequence. That's all I'm really gonna say.
And
this
speaking of
hard to get through.
The henshins, so they do things a little bit differently in this movie, where there's no real jump into the sky with the cyclone turbine.
They work around it.
They work around it in interesting ways, and there's kind of a point to the weird monster things. They're not just monsters. They're all cyborgs that have specialized suits that play into their different abilities. So it's literally people putting on the masks, and the henshin is essentially him putting his mask together, or both of them putting their mask together, which is kind of cool. You click at the jaw, that's the henshin.
It's dope. I mean, in terms of making it as simple as possible, because I guess they didn't want to. Anyway, all right. Let me say this because it's fucking me up. The writer, and you know who he is. The writers said I'm sorry, not the writer. The director said that there's nothing special about a rider kick. The fight director. Excuse me, I keep fucking that up. Not the writer. The writer is Inoue.
Inoue. I mean, he would probably say that too, to be fair.
But the fight director, which blew my mind because the rest of the fight scenes are fantastic, but
Inoue wrote it. The director is Takao Nagaishi.
Thank you.
Yep.
Inoue. But the fight director was like, there's nothing special about a rider kick, so it's just gonna imply power. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna do anything fancy, and they don't.
He kicks a fucking motorcycle wheel out of the way.
But there's no flair. There's no pizzazz.
I literally just watched him jump through the air and kick someone and watch them go rolling for 30 feet as they explode.
Or to. No, he says yeah, but not to. You know what I mean? There's subtle things that should have been in this movie that would have at least put it in better graces for me. It's just the fact that they went so hard in this other direction where it doesn't even try to. I don't know. It doesn't play into what it is. You know what I mean? It tries so hard to be this J drama that's like, oh, he loves her, he wants to protect her, and then you have moments where the fucking villains dissolve into fuzzy bubbles. Like how do you have that and not do more with that? You know what I mean? Like,
this one is kind of all over the place. It's rough. It is definitely rough. It's not bad. It's just a rough watch, I think. Like, so I remember watching the first time, and like when they really go hard into the like the love story stuff, I remember being kind of disinterested. When they get really into the like slow-mo running, motorcycling, that kind of stuff, I remember being kind of bored and being like, wow, this isn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, they fight, the two riders fight 3 times in the movie, and all 3 times are for her. So the fuck? Like,
Peacemaker brought up an interesting point. It's embarrassed to be Toku because Toku is for kids and this is an adult thing. That's a good way to put it, honestly. This feels like they're not steering into the Toku stuff. They're trying to make an action movie with, Toku kid costumes.
That sucks.
It sucks. Right. It does.
But you're right.
But there's things in here that I love, and I think it's honestly because of the second movie that I like a lot more. And
that's yes.
It carries reverse into it.
Before we get into the sequel, the last thing that I want to compliment this movie on, maybe because I was paying half attention the entire time, but I wondered why they were doing this second plot through the entire movie. They were talking about this other couple who plays these two sick people in a hospital who fall in love together. So it's just more mushy gushy shit, right? And then I really think it's because I wasn't paying attention. At the very end, you realize that they're fighting the two are fighting these enemies who have always been covered, and it reveals that it's these two characters that must have fallen victim to Shocker towards the end of their stories, because you don't really see the ending of that. It's just kind of implied that something happened to them, and since they're terminally ill, you think they just died. But Shocker, I know the one dude, the Shocker guy who played 15, right? He plays the spider kaijin in this, and it's a dope design. These, in terms of like being practicals, just the helmet thing, although they do a crazy fucking Superman change, man. He literally ducks one time, comes back up full suit with the helmet on. You know what I mean? The first time they fight, you see him literally like do one of these and like open the belt, and then all of his clothes are gone and he's in the leather suit. And then he just like clicks the helmet on. I was like, God damn, all right. No transition, no explanation, no sound effect, nothing. It's literally just, and he's on. Anyway, but I forget where I was going. That took me on such a tangent. But fuck, I forget what I was saying.
Something about the two at the end of the movie when they turn
into
the...
there we go.
Yep.
So it reveals that these two enemies are actually those two who were in the beginning or through the whole movie up until a certain point. And then they don't even get like proper deaths. They're defeated, but they don't explode like the other enemies. They just kind of disappear after being defeated. So
makes sense.
I was like, oh snap, it's them. I wanted to be excited. I'm like, wow, they actually pulled one on me because I'm fucking half paying attention. Dope shit. To come find out that no, nothing ever comes of it. It's just something that happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was so pissed. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I give up.
The one actually looks a lot like Kaijin Oja. Like if Oja was a Kaijin, that's kind of what it is. And then you have this really just awful moment that is actually playing right now that I completely forgot about, where Ichimonji leaves Hongo to get his ass beat, and then is like, nah, this is too much for me, I'm out. And then Hongo's getting his ass beat, very like Raph leaving Leo kind of thing, and then he comes back because of course he fucking does.
The guy's about to punch him, and it's so weirdly sound edited that the punch is like at the climax here. He's at like full yell right here, and then you hear the rev of the motorcycle, and then there's a good 2 seconds before anything else happens.
Yeah.
And then he comes in. You know what I mean? Like I was like, ooh, that's bad. Oh, that's so bad.
It was rough. But honestly, like, if I had to give this like some kind of rating out of 10, if you wanted to give it something like that, I would give this a solid like 6.
Rather than a number, I'm going to say if you like the more realistic fighting in this, watch the compilations. Don't watch the movie.
Yes. That is a great way to experience this movie. Compilations.
Because if it weren't for the sequel, I don't know if I would have been all right with this. Like,
I would have been all right. And the problem is also partly that we got something better in terms of a reboot remake, and that is Amazon's. But before I talk about more general remakes, all that kind of stuff, let's talk about the next.
Yes.
And the next is the sequel, obviously. And we are introduced to a third rider that is V3. That's actually chronologically the order, if you guys aren't familiar, of the original Showa riders. We are introduced to him. But also, this movie has this crazy underplot of a ring girl and Yeah.
It's dope. Come on, it's dope. Listen, what held me was the fact that there was so much horror themes in this one, like so many versions of the elements of horror that I like. You have the creep, the jump scares, you have the body horror, you have creature feature. It was so much of everything that I love. I was like, oh my god, I'm good. This movie's fucking great. I don't even care. And there's Kamen Rider. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately, both. The thing that does take away from it is the fact that it's so successful at kind of being a horror movie that the Kamen Rider things are kind of like, oh yeah, it is also a Kamen Rider movie. So like, they could have, right. But that's what had me hooked, because you got me at horror movie.
Yeah, I think it has kind of the same issue we were just talking about, where, like, we were saying it still feels like it's a little embarrassed to be a toku, but the stuff that is kind of shoehorned in to make it feel more adult, mature, whatever, I enjoy better in this one. That's kind of the thing for me. And we also get the Rider Troopers, whatever you want to call them.
Shocker Troopers.
Troopers,
man.
yeah. You get the full 6 Rider team. So they get that. We get Neo Shocker as well, I believe. Is that what they're called in V3? I think Neo Shocker.
Something like that.
And yeah, this movie's fucking cool. I like this one a lot better.
So, to put it in a nutshell, you get more of a, like I was saying, it's more of a personal story where the ghost at hand, the Sadako wannabe, is this character who we see throughout the entire movie. So it's like this mystery where you're trying to figure out how the relationship that the main character has with this Chiharu character is significant, and you come to find out that there's
what the fuck any of this has to do with Kamen Rider.
Right. What I really think, and the reason why, is because Hongo is now a teacher in another shittier school, and he's a busybody. So it's because he's a busybody that we get Kamen Rider, because otherwise it wouldn't work. Like, there's no reason for him to get involved other than he chose to be involved. Legit. Ichimonji's in this, and it's weird because they called it the next. I thought it was going to be more about him.
You thought it was going to be more about Ichimonji?
Right, as the main character. And it's not that it's kind of fair played, but I think obviously because of the ending, which is a weird ending, by the way.
Yes. But
we'll get there.
All in all, in the plot, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you most of the plot to this movie, because I actually just sit there and like drooling at this movie.
So real quick, famous girl is famous because she can sing, becomes famous after being bullied in school. Something happened to her in school where she fucking died. She got pushed off some stairs, got scared, and died. And what they did was take the famous chick, because she's famous, and each of her bullies were transformed into her to fulfill her role. And one by one, they kept getting bumped off because the actual dead chick, who is transforming underground, a la fucking Aldrich style, where she's transforming into this Taijin, half-human, Uriko, half-beast thing, where she's like crawling out of the sewers the entire movie. You don't even realize it's her until you see her fucking face. But anyway, for somehow that's happening while she's able to manifest a spirit ghost form of her to kill anybody who listens to her song at a certain point, a la fucking The Ring. So once that certain point in the song comes, you're fucking dead. And at first, it seems to be she's offing her fucking rivals. But then she goes and she offs the president of her fucking fan club. And you're just like, nobody's fucking safe. Anybody who listens to this song is dicked. So she goes... So the entire movie, Ichimonji is involved because of reasons, because there's some organization that he's dying, by the way, the entire movie, worse and worse and worse every fucking scene. So Hongo is trying to help the main chick who's trying to find Chiharu,
Kamen Rider Drake's sister, who, by the way, if anyone didn't know,
who is, and that's what I was gonna say. And the reason V3 is in this is because he's some kind of exec who is the brother of the Chiharu sister, who doesn't see her enough to recognize until he finally meets her in person that she's a whole different person. And because of that reason, he joins up with the Riders to figure this bullshit out. And meanwhile, the Chiharu fakes are having breakdowns because they're being haunted by the actual. It's fucking dope. but it's not Kamen Rider.
And it's also like kind of stupid. Peacemaker's mentioning that Hongo actually shows up in Kamen Rider or Kabuto, and I believe it's the ultimate makeup episode. I believe it's his makeup rival. I think that's Hongo.
Fuck out of here.
I believe that's Hongo. So if you guys didn't know, Kabuto has an ultimate makeup episode where they follow Drake and they have a makeup off where they do like anime bullshit and make up each other. It's great.
Azama Hideyori, ultimate makeup.
Ultimate makeup. I believe that is Hongo. I'm not 100%, but I believe that's him.
Hold on. I am on it.
So pretty interesting. And then I kind of was all about it because at this point I saw this movie. I was like in Kamen Rider, right? Like I had finally gotten into it. I had seen most of Kabuto at this point, and like seeing Kamen Rider Drake, I was like, oh shit, I know him. Sick. Let's do this. He's another Kamen Rider thing. Yeah. Peacemaker says possibly episode 14 at the end. So I don't know.
That's why
off the top of my
head. You're
head.
a G, Peacemaker. You're a G, man.
And I believe they also changed the helmet in this one for Hongo because he does go through a couple helmets in the original series. It starts off kind of blue and then it turns into black, and I believe that's the one they use in this one, and then he gets the like classic green one later. So they do change the outfit slightly, updated a teeny bit, which is kind of cool too, because that harkens back to the original arc, because that's when they fight the Shocker Riders.
So there's a sequence in this where they all fight the Shocker Troopers after they've all, the masks are dropped and V3's like, oh, I don't want to be a bad guy anymore. So he joins them at the very crux of their battle. They're fighting in like this mansion or some shit.
Yeah. And
they're fighting in this stairwell. And there's 3 fucking moments where Hongo stomps, he kicks one of the Shocker Troopers, who flips over a bar, right? Lands upside down over a bar where his legs are on the bar and he's on his back. Mm-hmm. Hongo stomps on the fucking small of his back and snaps his spine. Like, oh my God. And then there's another moment where Ichimonji's fighting the Shocker Troopers and he does an unofficial rider punch, and you can see when he impacts the other guy's fist, his bone pops out the back of his arm, like it's just shot right out. I'm just like, oh my God, more of that. Yes. I'm trying to find a picture of Hongo in this episode. I don't see it, but
that's all right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna believe Peacemaker. Peacemaker should
of
go
course
for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I have the scene playing right now. Yes, I saw the part you were talking about where they punch each other and he just fires out. Oh God!
Fucking bone is like, no, I quit. It's like, no, are you stupid?
Oh yeah, there's the fold. Goodness gracious. Yeah, no, I didn't remember that specifically. That's awesome.
But there's a bunch of moments in this where the horror aspects, like there's 2 really good jump scares, and I'm gonna nerd out because it's not often that I see a shot like that where it was in the car. I don't know if you remember it, but the president of the fan club is like nerding out. He's looking for a parking spot in an underpass, which makes no fucking sense. But
of course,
the song is there, and the way that it's shot, you can see the steering wheel. You can see like the camera has to be like kind of high up because you can see his lap. But they do such a quick cut where it's like back to his face of horror, then back up to that same cut, and you can see how she must have been like crawled underneath the seat, like shimmied out. They must have hollowed out the bottom of the car or some shit. But it was thinking of how they did it and the effort that they go through. I'm like, damn, for a jump scare, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like all that shit for a fucking jump scare. I appreciate it. And it was multiple things. Like the beginning of the movie is very Ring. You have this nerd who gets way too much mayo on his fucking salad. Like, holy shit, the amount of mayo that his mom squeezed onto this thing. I was like, you're good, right? You're good, right? Nope. And then she adds like 2 more layers of that shit. Anyway. So the whole thing is like he's listening to the song, and you get this creepy thing where it's like, it's the Ring where he thinks he hears something and he doesn't, and then it fucking happens.
And he's in like a computer chat room the whole time, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's in terms of it being in terms of the horror elements in this, it works for me. So I really can watch this movie just for the horror elements.
Okay.
And then you throw in the Toku shit, and I'm even more there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this, I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it.
No, like I think there's much more successful reboots and remakes and remasters, whatever the hell you want to call them, of Toku franchises that we'll get into in a couple minutes here. I think there's much more successful versions, but like this is kind of like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, right? Like I feel like this kind of set that off. You know what I mean? It regardless of how you feel, this kind of set that sort of thing into motion. Like the success of these movies, or I mean, they had to be some kind of successful. They kept trying to do this. So I feel like this is kind of, at least for me and probably a lot of people who more or less grew up in the Heisei era of Kamen Rider, this was the kind of thing that kickstarted all that. We were baptized by Heisei, if you will. I think this is kind of where that whole situation started. They did try again, speaking of Showa writers, not long after actually it was like 10 years, but after this, the next reboot kind of thing we would see, the next project like this would be Amazons. Yeah. And we have talked about Amazons before, and if you guys don't know, I fucking love Amazons. That is one of my top 3 Kamen Rider shows of all time.
It's definitely a high recommendation. I mean, in terms of if you like the more realistic shit, like this takes what this one did. Amazon's kicks that up to the next level. Yep. So like you're getting the gritty and fucking really good acting. So like you're getting that, and you're getting grit story with all the blood and gore that you can. I mean, dude, the fucking revolt. What is it? The violent punish.
Violent punish.
That belt. Why don't we have that one? I need to get that one.
Yeah, I know. I should have bought one. The CSM is out, and it's very expensive. I have switched the video over because that was the next. I mean, I don't have too much more to say about that, honestly. But
yeah, I mean, honestly, of the two, it's the better one.
Yeah, and like we've talked about Amazons before. We talked about the first season in a previous episode. We only did the first one? Yeah, I think we only did the first season, which is all you really need to watch, but you should watch all of it anyway. The second, so a quick take on my feelings on the whole thing. First season, amazing. Second season, not as great. The movie, not great.
No. Oh God, that movie.
Peacemaker likes to call Amazons a bad Resident Evil series. That's upsetting. But there's so much to love in this. There's
what
so
is
much
a good?
to love.
What is a good Resident Evil series?
There isn't one. My thing with Amazons is the suit acting is really what sets this show so much more apart than anything really we see in like the main Kamen Rider series. Like and again, I've talked about this before as well. I love when personality comes through in the rider form itself. And nothing I can say is probably better done, except maybe like O's, but that's a little bit different because it's choreographed to the pieces. Alpha has some of the most distinct personality in his rider form of any Kamen Rider.
And out of his form.
But specifically because we don't have, so the thing with emoting inside of a suit, right? Like you don't have a face to play off of. The human brain is made to react to facial things. And when you have a set mask, you can't react to that. You don't feel that as much. You don't connect on the same level. When it comes to body language and things like that, Amazons does that to a whole other level. And I think that is just fantastic.
It plays into what you were saying about O's. O's did a lot of focus on the fighting differences between his forms. And these characters in Amazons are distinct in the way that they fight. Omega is a primal, out of control, barely in control, and then eventually masterful fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you see that growth in all of the,
doing sparring matches with your eternal rival for a few decades does that too.
When Jin's your dad, you pick up a little bit of swag too. You know what I mean?
Well, he lost that swag pretty quick too, to be fair.
Jin, even when Jin was at his lowest, bro, blind, angry, fucking drunk, he was still able to punch through people. So come on.
Literally,
Anyway.
quite literally. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. He literally punches through someone's head and pulls out their little fucking Amazon's core. Peacemaker saying he calls it a bad RE plot or story because the plot is very similar to an RE story. I get that. I get that aspect to it. I just think the show is phenomenal, and calling it a bad RE story is kind of crazy because there's some really bad Resident Evil things.
The newest one. Oh my god.
I don't even want to watch it, honestly.
Don't. It is literally almost unwatchable. Literally.
Good.
Anyway, I guess because Peacemaker's saying like it's not very Kamen Rider. You know what I mean? It's adult Kamen Rider, so it's not
That's fine.
traditional. It's its own touch on it, and I dig that because that's how I feel about Black Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sun is, I don't think it's the same plot. I think they're taking the same elements, but not the same plot.
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
From what I understand, it is the plot points. It's not the same plot. So the Kingstone stuff, I'm pretty sure, is pretty similar. It's been many moons since I even read a wiki on Black, to be fair. But I believe they're taking a lot of the plot points. It's just the plot itself and the setting is obviously a little bit different. They changed some things as well. So yeah, just to cap off a little cherry on Amazon, then we'll get into Black Sun here. Amazon's is beautiful. That's it. Moving on.
Just check it out. Just and donate for the drivers. Thanks.
Sure. Yes. Why not?
No, I legitimately want the Neo driver. That one is fucking nice.
The Neos one? You like that one?
The Neos driver. I do like the grind. But it's something about that voice. Neos.
Yes.
Oh,
Peacemaker. Yeah. I 100% agree with you. Season 1 I think season 1 is great. Peacemaker saying season 1 is fine, yes. And then everything else after that brings it way down. I can 100% agree with that.
The introduction of Delta. Ugh.
1 is way higher for me, and then everything else after that, it's kind of whatever. But still, yeah.
Dope designs.
So, yeah,
anyway,
amazing fucking designs. But Black Sun, the reason y'all came this evening, the entire fucking point.
I mean, I'm sure somebody already has a fucking full season breakdown, so we'll catch up. But what we got for you is basically our take on the first episode, 2 episodes.
Yeah, I only watched the first one, and then like we said earlier, I only said the first one. You've seen the first 2.
I saw the first 2.
So we open on what can only be described as
horror,
torture.
Torture. So legitimately, you're starting off what I assume is the origin of how they got these stones put in.
Yes, they have the king stones inside of them because they're trying to create a new creation king. So in the solar eclipse, they are literally operating on their own children.
Yes,
these 2 brothers, Nobuhiko and Kotaro Minami.
Oh my god! Awake, no anesthesia, full on,
just fucking exploratory surgery. And this kid's awake.
And he's just like, yeah, that's my spleen. I believe that's my liver. Yeah, no, I think you're there. Whatever you're looking for. So
whatever you found, it hurts. Please stop.
They shove the Kingstone in there. And then we fast forward 50 years through these pictures, montages, where it's implied that something happened at some point where they got separated. And we're in what I assume is modern day because of
modern enough.
Modern enough because it's all the meta commentary on racism and all that shit. So you have a lot of that injected and being metaphorically implied to be the Kaijin. So Kaijin are now...
if you guys existed in the world in 2020, which if you're listening to this, I bet you did, there is an anti-Kaijin protest going on because Kaijin are just out about in the world. And it had big Trumper vibes. That was
Kaijin.
Yeah, that was the vibe that I got from that, and I was like, "That's." But that's as subtle as a bright yellow bus being parked in front of me.
Yeah, we're in the first episode, so I don't understand, but it just seems like there's hate to be hate because there's no substantive reason that they hate them other than that they do.
Because they're different and they're monsters.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's where we're going with it, then that's where they need to leave it. Because holy shit, that's enough. We get it.
It was interesting because you know, the whole thing is anti-kaijin protest, and then kaijin are protesting those protests, and they start transforming, and then of course, you know, someone gets scared and a cop shoots someone, and
now,
yeah.
To be honest, I was kind of worried when they first did the transformation because it did seem a little rough. Like these were legitimately just masks and hands.
Yep.
And then, you know, civvy clothes on top. So I was like, oh, okay, but all right. Like, but those designs look really cool. So all right. So, you know, it was off-putting at first because I was worried. But then they go, okay, but wait. Then they take these...
said this shows the embodiment of the quote, some people use subtlety and they are all cowards. That is perfect.
True. Yes. So they follow up that awkward shit with fucking one of these protesters getting gunned down. Like,
gunned down by a cop.
He gets shot like 3 or 4 times by the same cop, and then they just rush him off. You know what I mean? Like, it is like, yep, he's dead, and then they never really approach it other than like, wow, he died. You know? It's so stuffed down that you're just like, okay, that happened.
I feel like it's going to escalate more because then we hard cut to like a UN meeting where this little girl is saying, you know, we got to bridge the gap between kaijin and people, and she's like 14.
Speaking English.
Yep.
Her English is very good English. But my favorite part is when she says crystal clear, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't have used that word, but okay.
Yeah, so that obviously sparks some people to kind of go after her, and that's kind of how she is eventually met up with our main character, Kotaro Minami, the man himself.
They don't skip 2 things, bro. So apparently our boy Kotaro is a enforcer or a collector. He
breaks fucking kneecaps. Money. That's what he fucking does.
He's that guy. So he goes and he gets his fucking regular stash or regular supply of ketamine.
Yeah, I was gonna get to there.
My man is injecting
My man goes
ketamine.
Into a K-hole every chance he gets.
Holy shit. And when you first see it, you're just like, wow, that's a lot of fucking
500 milligram bottles. There's like 9 in this fucking trash can, and then he gets a bag of like 10 more. I was like, good lord.
So my man knows how to fucking party.
My man knows how to party. And that's where I was like, is this whole show going to be a goddamn ketamine trip? Is that what's happening here?
That's how he transforms. How do you think he transforms? That's the only way you turn into a giant fucking grasshopper.
I assumed it had some kind of thing because, you know, we can talk about the Creation King and the heaven or whatever. I assumed it had some kind of properties similar to the heaven. But yeah, we're on ketamine right now. Let's focus. We're talking about fucking ketamine tripping.
And mind you, he's putting it through jeans right into his legs. So there's no sanitation. There's nothing going on. And this is
not
after a
your
rough
daddy's
day.
Kamen Rider Black superhero. Okay, this is not Papa's.
This is your straight up raw druggie here, bro. Like this dude's
fucked up.
Like, so you can imagine. So mind you, he's been sluggish and rough in it the whole time we've seen him, and you're wondering like, damn, he's just like either in a deep depression. No, my man is paid up too. He is just all the time. So anyway. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because where he gets his supply from, she hands him a photo of the young chick. Aoi is her name. And I guess he's supposed to just offer. That's kind of the gig.
It was kind of like a note that just said, like, take care of this, essentially.
So and she's a 14-year-old girl, by the way. So he's 14. Just like, okay, no problem. We already know that he's all about it. So a bunch, and this is where it kind of, you get more of the injection of the woke stuff because a good amount of this episode is dedicated to the message of don't be a dick. You know, it's really just that simple. It is a long-winded way of saying don't be an asshole. You're being a racist asshole. Stop being a racist asshole. That's it. So legit. All the way up to the point where her and the other guy, Shinsuke, which is one of her friends, he is...
Kaijin, by the way.
Yeah, he is a kaijin, by the way, and a Tweety bird. He's a cute little Tweety bird.
Yep. So she goes visits the family, and like as they're leaving school, the ralliers, I'm gonna call them. I'm not gonna keep using that T word because that I don't know. I don't care.
That's fine.
The ralliers, the protesters are outside their school protesting Aoi and Shinsuke, and I don't think they realize Shinsuke is one of them, but like they're just kind of protesting her and kind of chasing her down with like their protest.
Yeah, they really go above and beyond. There's this one leader who's obviously the leader, and he's just like the shittiest shit-eating grin. You want to punch him in the face, dude. Like, it works. It works, damn it. But all that leads up to them being confronted by the spider Kaijin.
So he's the hitman of the Gorgum Party, which is an actual political party right now. So the Gorgums in the original series were the ones who created Black and Shadow Moon. Nice. They were also like the evil they were the shocker of the original series kind of thing. So in this one, they are an actual political party, and they are a bunch of Kaijin trying to create the new Creation King. Which brings us to one of the coolest fucking set pieces in the whole goddamn episode.
This thing looks incredible. How they were able to make this look so fucking cool. Like, it's literally a giant version of the Black. You know what? Let me see if I can find some pictures.
To put it in context, we go to the Gorgum headquarters essentially, and they're even in the robes like in the original show. They're in like priest robes almost, and it's Kaijin. They just get back from a press conference with the prime minister, and they're Kaijin that he's befriended so that he can start his political agenda kind of thing. And there's just this huge grasshopper humanoid in a chair with all these things plugged into him.
So cool.
And they're just plugged in, and it's siphoning off what they're calling heaven. And it seems to be this jelly-like substance that they are force-feeding Nobuhiko, who is chained up in a dungeon in the Gorgum headquarters. And one of the generals is very upset that, he's being fed this heaven because it's a very precious resource. And apparently it can only be created by the Creation King for some reason.
Yes. And the Creation King is dying.
It's dying. So they need to find a successor. And that was kind of the point of these King Stones, which is to create a new Creation King so they can keep the heaven going and, further their motives. And that's when they send our Spider Boy after Aoi to silence her, essentially. And they kind of just say, like, bring her here. And I think they're trying to turn her into a Creation King kind of thing. Yeah.
They go hard into this. Not hard, I'm sorry. It's barely touched on, but in the first episode, they mentioned that it's been 50 years since Kotaro must have gone missing.
Yeah.
And
so some kind of event happened with the Creation King, Nobuhiko, and Kotaro. And it seems like they may have fought the Creation King at one point, and they were separated. And it's been 50 years since. So that's kind of where we are right now. And then we see Kotaro and Nobuhiko chained up. Nobuhiko does get out I don't know. I don't know really understand how he got out, but
I think it was so the way it looks is like he was chained up and weakened, but they gave him the heaven thing to keep him just barely enough.
Yeah.
But then because all of a sudden
the Kingstones resonate with each other.
Another Kingstone that on Aoi. So we kind of skipped that.
Yeah.
But so the spider Kaijin corners Aoi and Shinsuke and almost, tries to kill them. And then so he bitch smacks Aoi and like tumbles her into her own pile. Kotaro is literally about to kill her. Like, you know what I mean? He flips her over and he brings the claw back to fucking rip her throat or something. And only the moment before does he see the King's Rock. Yep. So my man was ready to rock. You know what I mean?
He was ready to collect that bounty and go the fuck home and trip.
It tripped me out for a minute. That I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't have any conflictions about it being a 14-year-old girl. Nothing stopped him. He was ready to fucking do it. And the only thing that stopped him was that damn rock.
Yep.
But anyway, so that triggered fucking Shadow Moon's hand to do some kind of resonant thing, and
not just him, all the Kaijin, it seems, or at least all the major ones.
You're right.
It creates like a ripple through them, and you see a glimpse of all of their Kaijin forms. And Kotaro morphs into his Kaijin form, and he has the belt on. And so Nobuhiko kind of does like a silver version of it, and I'm assuming his arm gets bigger and that breaks the chain. That's what happened.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it just weakened it and it just dropped off.
Yeah, and so he eventually gets out. He steals a whole bunch of heaven, and eventually,
he cleaned those fuckers out. He cleaned
that out.
If they have any heaven left, I'm surprised.
Yeah. So he cleans that place out and he escapes. And then eventually, so Kotaro in his Kaijin form fights this spider Kaijin, and it was a pretty cool fight. And it has big CG legs, but they aren't super distracting like a lot of the CG. They definitely put some money into it. Yes. And eventually he fucking cuts off one of his arms. He breaks one of these spikes, and then he rips his head off, quite literally, like King Kong style. He just like
it is oh god, it's so brutal, but it's so good.
It's so good.
Oh good. But it's the
like
right
at
level.
The nape of the neck, he just
you feel it, and it's like perfect.
That's the
anyway. So literally, the owie like passes out because he does the ketamine walk up to her. It's like
ketamine walk.
He's like, I got this head now, and he just drops it. It's just like, oh god.
As most probably would in that situation.
He brings her back to his van down by the river, wherever he literally lives in like a bus.
It was an
van.
actual subway car. You can see the handles in the background.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, is this a bus? Like,
no, it's a subway car somewhere, and because you could see the fucking standing handles. And Nobuhiko is just hanging out in there because they can he can detect it in the tingle in his balls or something.
Yeah,
detect each other.
So he finds them. Yeah. He goes, he confronts his brother, and before he turned into that grasshopper thing, the spider managed to stab him in the back, so he's like wounded. So he's like bleeding out the entire walk back.
Yep.
So that's why he's
just over his shoulder.
Yeah, that's why he's like in this his ketamine walk is like super bad, but he's got this. He's able to get her down. Nobuhiko confronts him. He's like, "Hey, join me. We can do this. Yeah. Why aren't you taking the fucking heaven, bro? You look like shit." He's like,
one sip, you'll be good. We can fucking do this. And he also says an interesting fact where, you look really old. Why aren't you taking the heaven? So clearly, Kaijin can stay younger longer. They have extended lives. Nobuhiko looks much younger, to be honest. Even though he has like the homeless thing going on, he does look much younger. And so that was an interesting little comment that he made where it's like, okay, is this a Kingstone thing? Is this a Kaijin thing? Like, what's really going on? What is this heaven stuff other than just the goop of the Creation King?
That's all it is. It's
the goop of the Creation King. Yeah. So it was an interesting interaction that kind of told us a lot and just raised a lot of eyebrows where it was like, okay. And then that's when he mentions they were separated after fighting the Creation King, because he says something like along the lines of, we could do it this time if you go back to full power. Yeah,
it would, and then he's like, leave me out of it. That has nothing to do with me. And then he passes out, and he just walks away, and that's the end of the episode. But holy fuck, what a fucking episode, dude!
So if you couldn't tell, I love dumb, gritty, fucking edgelord bullshit. If you guys have been here for a second or just heard the conversation the last hour,
if they haven't met you before, hi.
I like dumb edgelord bullshit, and this is the edgiest of the lording.
Dude, look at these designs, man. We don't have the actual rider forms in this one. He transforms into this buggy grasshopper form of it. I want to see if I can find it.
If you just type in like Kamen Rider Black Kaijin form, I'm sure it'll pop up. But yeah, it's something. Apparently the opening to 2 is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but I'm excited to see it now. So
it's what I'm saying is like the reason I know that this show is gonna fucking bang, bro, is when the first episode ended, the second episode played, I couldn't stop it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I had to physically stop after the second episode because I was gonna fucking plow through the whole thing.
The K-hole you were going into?
It was gonna happen.
The Kamen Rider hole?
Listen, here, I found a good one. There we go. This is their Kaijin form. It's not very clean. Let's see if it'll clean up in here. There you go. But yeah, like legit, it gets more intense, and you look at these designs, bro. Like look at these things. Yeah, there's more of that in the second episode. So it's like they give you the taste in the first episode, then they give you what you're looking for in the second, and I hope the rest of the season just amps that shit up, because we don't even get the henshins yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
And I did see a clip of the henshin. It is very cool. We saw like a clip of him demoing the CSM, kind of rough around the edges. It was very clearly like an impromptu kind of thing, or he just wasn't really getting what was going on. It was also kind of awkward, like the belt wasn't on him, so
it was he was doing it on a stand. So
a lot of awkward things that made it not seem weird. We were like, oh, is this okay? That's strange. Okay, but the actual henshin is very cool, and I'm excited to see it like in the episode. And I'm curious to see how much of a problem Shadow Moon is going to be. Because yeah.
So like you get the idea that Shadow Moon has, I don't know if is it vengeance right away, or is it the fact that he is trying to be top dog? You know what I mean? Like you can't, it's not like he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, because he makes it clear in the second episode, you'll see, but there's something about him that's not right, and you know it's gonna go very quickly that way.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not gonna be like, haha, subterfuge. No, it's just straight up, he's gonna do something drastic.
Yeah, Peacemaker saying was probably some tech issues. It was like that, and it was also just like the whole situation of it being like on the stand, like a little bit farther away from him, so he's probably used to doing it with like the thing on him. You know what I mean? It was just kind of awkward, and we were like, "Oh, okay, that's weird, but all right." Because normally they have these press conferences, and they do just like it in the air, but he was like had it on the stand, and it was kind of awkward. But I wouldn't be surprised either.
To say, as a writer actor, you have two jobs: master the henshin and put a fucking smile on your face.
Well, I mean, this Kotaro is not going to be smiling anytime soon, so
unless you dangle a ketamine bottle in front of me, you're gonna do shit.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I was tripping on that for so long. Like, it distracted me for a good couple minutes of the episode. I'm like, he's a legit hard druggie, like hard druggie.
And that's what I was kind of thinking. I was thinking maybe the ketamine has similar effects to the heaven. Maybe that's why he's doing it. It's slowing the stuff down. It's, reacting with the system. He's getting some kind of sustenance. It's aging him. And Peacemaker saying, don't look at the Shoto stuff because there's apparently spoilers in it. Okay. Now I want to look at it. But good to know. I will most likely finish it this week. We'll probably talk like a full breakdown next week. But I really, really, really liked the first episode of Black Sun, and everything I've seen from Black Sun since it was announced, I have been all for it. It hits all the beats that I'm about, and yeah, I'm always down for more edgelord riders.
Yeah. So I guess next cast, you guys are gonna get the full take on that, because there's no way we're gonna let this go. Holy crap, man.
No. Like, this is beautiful. This is the best things I love about Guyver and Kamen Rider put together.
It feels like they're embracing the mature thing, because you have the meta topic, you have them. I mean, you got a lot of man butt tier 2, so there's that going on. But it's I don't know, like I'm excited, but I really want this to live up to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to feel other than excitement.
I'm hoping if there's a season 2, kind of like Amazon's, that they don't ruin it.
That's kind of what I want to know. Like, is it definitively wrapped up in this, or are they trying to turn this into?
I mean, if we got a season 2, I would assume it would be RX. I would assume
should be RX. So then, does that mean, does he get defeated in the end of this one? That would be fucking dope.
If Black just fucking gets murked.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it happens. So
yeah, no, that Kingstone gets bye-byed.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll see. Yeah. There's definitely going to be some crazy, I'm assuming at some point Shadow Moon and him are going to fight, and that should be pretty cool.
So listen, I do want to give you one spoiler for the second episode, though.
Okay.
But it's strictly
the second episode. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a moment in there where Shadow Moon makes a move and takes out a villain by biting them in the side.
Okay.
And then finishing it by tearing them in half.
Okay. Yep. I'm here for it. Let's go. Yep. That is like the next best option below just fucking like spinning pile driver.
And then
fucking, if you just like spinning pile driver and then rip them in half, I'd fucking just game over, done. Fucking how crazy would it be at the end of season 2, Shadow Moon comes back because of some bullshit, because it's Shadow Moon, and then fucking edgelord Black Sun double shows up and bitches him just like he did in the Decade movie.
That would be fucking fantastic.
Just like he does, and it's the super edgy fucking redesign going on.
What would happen? No, you up it by Shadow Moon blocking base double, and then him breaking out extreme. Just giving a little chuckle.
Extreme! Oh god!
Okay, that's what it's gonna be.
Yep. But it'll be like the hyper fucking Black Sun version of Double. So
can you imagine?
That'd be so cool. I can't wait for the 20th anniversary of all these ones that I'm super familiar
with.
What's
it's funny though, because not that we called it, but we had been for years, ever since that first announcement, we were like, yo, what if we get a Black? What if we get Stronger?
Pretty much since Amazon's, we were talking about what if they just kept doing these projects to keep going. And
sure enough, man.
And like they obviously skip a couple. There's quite a few between Amazon's and Black, but you know, Black is one of the most popular series in the world. When it comes to Kamen Rider, you know, it's most people's favorite Showa. It's like the Gaim of the Showa era, essentially. It's usually everyone's favorite, and I'm down for more reimagining Showas. And this in particular has that Neo Showa thing, right? Like this has some points in it where I was like, that's the Showa influence. Yeah. There's definitely some shots. I know the last episode harkens back to the fucking opening of Kamen Rider Black. I saw that clip. That was super sick. Yeah, there's a point where he's like walking into a warehouse and the doors open and it's just like the opening to Black. It is beautiful. So there's stuff like that. There's Neo Showa in here. When I talked about Neo Showa, we talked about Zaborgar. Neo Showa, the beautiful coat of paint with the Showa energy in shots matched and all that kind of stuff with 2022 technology. So, all
right, I have an idea, bro.
Okay.
All right. The next one is going to be Stronger, right? And you know what Stronger story is? Stronger, the guy is a professional wrestler.
Okay.
And he's on his way to the top, but because of politics, he has to take a dive.
Okay.
Come to find out, the Vince McMahon is a kaiju.
Okay.
And he sends other kaijus to take this wrestler out because he doesn't want him to win the belt.
Okay. So we're just doing Tiger Mask, but Kamen Rider. Got it.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're
right. Except without the weird like ninja cave thing. Got it.
I always think Stronger would have been suited for wrestling moves and shit. You know what I mean? Like
I just assume he'd fucking actually tackle people, not just have a sidekick and electro-human tackle.
No, so it's electro-human tackle, but he does like the whole fucking Kazumi where he just points his finger and she just fucking flies at him.
It's like Phoenix Wright in Ultimate Marvel 3. He just and like she runs out doing the fucking arm swings and shit.
I would fucking A.
Let's go. Stronger's a fucking double character in a fighting game. That's what's happening. It's Stronger and human tackle.
I mean, I guess in terms of popularity, who would it be? Honestly, if it's not Stronger, it would probably be what? Super 1? But I don't know if they're going to touch Super 1 ever again.
Yeah, I would want to see an X, honestly, like a new version of X, because the glove thing intrigues the hell out of me. I'm sorry, not X.
Super 1.
Super 1, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
that's
of,
right.
I'm thinking of Skyrider. That one. It was like that one was originally called like Shin Ichigo or something like that.
It was just meant to be like a reboot.
Yeah,
that was their original reboot, which is kind of funny because they even tried to redo it back in the day, and they were like, you know what, this is just another guy.
It's his own thing now. Nope, we're good. So,
but that's the difficulty of doing remakes. You see, like even back in the 80s, they were trying to do that, or whenever Skyrider came out. It's the same concept that it's so difficult to do it and do it well and do it successfully because they tried.
Yeah.
And he even took rider kicks from all the riders and aced it, bro. And they were still like, yeah, it's like trying to get Roman Reigns over. It's not gonna fucking happen. Nobody wants it. So just move on. So boom, they moved on.
Yes, we do need a new Power Glove, Josh. I will email my Nintendo. Matt@nintendo.com, which I'm sure is someone's email. Please don't email that. I'm sure it's much more complicated, but Matt@nintendo.com.
Did Super 1 use different fighting styles, or was it always just karate?
I don't know. I've honestly never seen Super 1. I just know he has different gloves that do different things. He's got like electro gloves. He's got one that shoots fire, and he's got ones that shoot like cooling things. And he's also space themed too, by the way. And he's like Shell Forza.
The same guy who designed his belt is implied to be the guy who designed Go's belt in Drive, right?
Is that what it is? I don't remember.
I think so, because that's why he does the same pension pose.
Krim Belt does design the fucking belt.
The white guy that appears out of nowhere in the middle of Drive, towards the end of it. Like I think he was the one who.
Super One.
If I'm right, I might be wrong, but
that's cool.
I remember that. Because that's why his pose is so similar. Not identical, but similar enough.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back Super One. Show me that shit. So, and then have Shinosuke fucking show up. He can even play Super One. That'd be kind of cool, actually, if the actor played Super One. That'd be a cool little fucking full circle thing.
Have Go play Super One. That would be acceptable, I think. I don't know.
No, not Go. Shinosuke.
Shinosuke.
Drive.
I can see that. I can see that. I would dig that. But
Peacemaker thinks it's just the same actor. It's not an actual tie-in.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well,
I'll take the actor.
I thought that's why they went with the whole his pose is similar. That's what I was hung up on. But anyway, it's more the idea that, going with the theme of remakes, just to close off the whole thing. Realizing now that they tried to do it with Skyrider, realizing how every remake that we've covered to this point has not been great. Maybe it's just not a good idea to do them at all.
Yep. But also at the same time,
Black Sun
and Amazons.
So
I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you try and reboot, it may be what takes people out of it, as opposed to remake, where you kind of keep some of those same elements. You know what I mean?
It's, more the respect to the material itself.
Yeah. Like there's Godzilla 2014, right?
Right.
It takes a lot from the original movie, and people, I feel like, didn't realize that because it's been 60 something years at that point, 50 years. And that's what annoyed a lot of people, and me included, to be honest. I came to a Godzilla movie. I want to fucking see Godzilla, please. Thank you. But
you sure 14 minutes wasn't enough for you? You fucking greedy bastard.
8 minutes, okay.
Sorry. Damn.
I think it was 8 in the original movie or something like that. But either way, my point being, you can take some of those elements and make a nice, beautiful package, and people can enjoy and go, hey, I remember that. Hey, I remember that. And they have this new flavored thing, right?
Right.
But then there's things where it's like, no, we're just going to redo it. New Hongo, new everything. All that shit doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I mean, you get, to solid your point, you get what we get with Black Sun. If you have the respect and you put the effort to make it, one, good enough to be its own thing while respecting the tie-ins, and then you get Resident Evil, where you steal names and ideas and morph it into the Rings of Power.
Listen, I've never heard a Kamen Rider show other than the first. This is actually the first time I've been hearing it, where they go, I hate the fucking material we're basing this on. And it's like, okay, well, then why are we here? Why the fuck are we even here? Which, random news fact, apparently Cavell is done with Geralt after season 3 because of that exact reason. So
they ruined him, didn't they?
They apparently a lot of the crew and the people running the show just aren't a fan of the movies and games and books. So they just are starting to do their own thing, and Cavell wasn't having it. So Liam Hemsworth is going to be the new Geralt after season 3.
Oh, he's not just being another guy. He's
literally Geralt.
God, that's gonna be fantastic. You know what it's like? Not to be fucking. No, yes, it's basically like that Thor sequence in those movies where you have those bullshit actors playing the fucking roles. Where you have fucking Matt Damon being Loki. It is literally that. Yeah. Literally that.
It's just jarring. Like, shit happens sometimes where you have to change the main character. Spartacus comes to mind, where the actor literally died of cancer, so they had to change the main character. Right. But it's still jarring, and you can't help but compare them. So like, whether Liam does good or not, it's always going to be like, but that's not Henry.
That's why they shouldn't even name him Geralt. They should just be like, meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, there's another Witcher who's totally unrelated.
They could have made him his teacher guy when he's younger, kind of thing, like from the anime, that kind of thing.
Oh, the beard dude. Yeah.
Yeah, his Ver something. I forget his name.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, his instructor guy who like restarts the, they made the anime on it, Night of the Wolves or whatever it's called.
I dabble. I only know a little bit of the lore, but enough.
I just don't know names. I'm terrible with names. Ver something. But either way, it's his like mentor person that kind of like restarted the Witchers after this big event. And there's an anime on Netflix if you want to see what that's all about. But he's pretty cool with that anime. Like they could do a young version of that, have him do like the spinoff series and just end it at season 3 or 4. But they're not going to do that because they want money. But because it happens. It happens. It fucking happens.
But we get Superman back because The Rock is pushy, I guess. I don't know.
Because his 15-year-old movie was made finally, I guess.
Listen, I have been, you guys know I'm a big Rock stan.
Yep.
But his acting has always been the red line for me. I don't think he's a good actor. I never have. He's good in the ring on the mic, but in terms of like it with a script and doing lines and trying to be that guy, it's never worked for him. He did one movie where I like it. It's called Faster, and he has like 7 lines in the movie. So watch
it's the Mummy 2 where he's all CG.
It's great. It's the best part ever. Hakuma Sente, bitch. But legitimately, I don't know if I want to watch Black Adam because of that. Like, I know it's like the shit, and it's like okay. I hear it's okay, so it gives me hope, but I still don't know if I want to see it. I can't bring myself to do it. But I just watched Kamen Rider the first and the next back to back, so maybe I can.
Maybe you can. Maybe you absolutely can. Josh is saying Black Adam's problem is the writing, which most of those movies it is.
Is it the writing or is it the Rock's delivery?
Yes.
Because that's...
No, it's the writing. He was telling me about it when we were hanging out. It's pretty bad. Well, then. So that's our kind of just our reboot Black Sun episode. Next week we're gonna do a full dive into this fucking edginess. I'm gonna maybe I'll get like a black long leather jacket and just stand here like this the whole time, squeezing.
No, just let your thing grow out for another 3 inches and then just do the whole fucking Shadow Moon right out the prison shit.
Just like make the eyes and shit.
A full cowl, fuck it.
Yeah, no, my hair. If my hair was still long, I could totally just full Nobuhiko. Yeah. But depression's a bitch, and I cut my hair. So let's do that. It happens. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I had on the reboots. You guys should definitely go. You should at least experience the first and the next, right? Like, you can watch. I would watch the first at least once. Form your own opinions, watch it at least once, but then you could also just kind of watch the compilation later. But
at least watch the next.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Watch the next, and then if you have time, watch the first.
Yeah, honestly, I would watch a compilation of the first and see if it's even like your thing. You know what I mean? And if you like what you see, watch the whole movie, and then you can watch the next. So, yeah. That seems like a good plan. Other than that, though, do you have a hero for this week?
Well, earlier I mentioned how in the real world shit has been going crazy. And there was an instance, I'm going to try to see if I can bring it up. But something happened where in Italy, there was an incident where these reckless people were trying to get into this restaurant and raising all kinds of hell. But these Italian workers who were, just serving in a restaurant that's themed Power Rangers were suddenly called to action. They legitimately answered the call and defended their customers from this attack of these wackadoo people who tried to break into a restaurant. I'm finding the
restaurant's in San Francisco, by the way, just so you guys know.
Oh, I thought it was an Italian restaurant. Excuse me.
It might be an Italian restaurant, but it's in San Francisco.
Forgive me. So I had it wrong. But
they do like Power Ranger Fridays kind of thing. And that's apparently how this all started. Apparently these guys were chasing this lady and she ran into the restaurant for help. And I want to read this. I'm just going to read what happened here because this is wild.
It blew me away that this actually happened, guys. Like, this is legit.
It was a ramen restaurant too, by the way.
Oh, better.
Yeah. So Noka Ramen recently opened in East Bay with a visual splash on Fridays. The restaurant staff dressed as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, those colorful 90s kid shows heroes, as a tie-in. We all know what that fucking is around here. Around 8 p.m. last Friday, fantasy and reality collided. The craziest thing just happened at dinner. Someone tweeted, who's dining at a restaurant. I'm at a ramen shop owned by Thai people in Oakland dressed as a Power Ranger when a woman comes rushing in saying she wasn't safe. Man came up running in after her and he puts her in a chokehold. And then the restaurant staff sprang into action once the woman had expressed she wasn't safe and she didn't want to go home with this man who was choke holding her. Fair. The Black Power Ranger, the manager, and the Yellow Ranger told the man to leave. He swung at them, and then all the Rangers yelled, "Hoy!" All of the servers / Power Rangers were moving towards the scene to help one another out. The patrons started getting involved in the way that was supporting and making sure everyone was safe. So apparently they just fucking not today kid fucking anime grabbed his hand and
this is so crazy to fucking realize, dude. Like I'm reading here, she said, we didn't speak to each other, we just shared this moment and we knew we had to do something. What's the first step? Like, what?
This is badass. First off, props. This is fucking badass. I want to just start with that. This is fucking cool.
Anybody who's willing to step up in a moment at all is a fucking hero.
Yeah,
and let alone
the fact that they just happen to all be in Power Ranger costumes, I want to like be a fly on the wall for what went through this dude's head as he realized that all of them were just circling them in Power Ranger costumes, and he just like lets her go.
Carl, in his arrest record, do they get to write that he was defeated by the Power Rangers?
Oh my god, I hope so. I hope.
Oh my god.
I hope it says detained by the Power Rangers. I hope that's the exact verbiage used on his fucking arrest.
The judge is in his arraignment going, I understand here that you were defeated by the Power Rangers. I love it.
Then I want the judge to be like, wow, that's pretty more phenomenal. You are sentenced to 5 years in jail and may the power protect you.
There's no better way that this story could have gone, man. That is perfect. Holy fuck, man. And they paid for everybody's meals. The fucking meals were on the house.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
It happened in San Francisco. So it's Noka Ramen in San Francisco.
Guys,
this is wild. Out. Yeah, no, this is our Toku hero spotlight for the week. The entire staff of Noka Ramen is the hero spotlight for this week. Y'all are some badasses.
Yo, unreal, unbelievable,
unfucking believable, and that is the most badass G shit ever. And you will go down in history, my friends. All of you, Noka Ramen, check them out. You are our hero spotlights for this week because holy fuck.
Shout outs to you guys, Noka Ramen. Check out some of our other guys. We have our boy K20 who makes these awesome print-out badges. Excuse me.
Yep.
Losing this one.
You're losing the battle.
Lost that one. Yep. Sorry. But we have a whole bunch of stuff that we want to shout out to people. I alone have my own YouTube channel. Please check that out. It's 6 Echoes on YouTube. I just post a bunch of scary stories on there. I also am always looking for your own scary stories. Send them to 6echoes.se@gmail.com. Other than that, I do this nonsense with Carl every Sunday.
Yeah.
Most Sundays. Let me not say that again.
And if you want to check out most Sundays, yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't promise anything we can't deliver on. Every time we do that, we go on like a 3-month hiatus.
Yeah. Watch, next Monday we're gonna get shot in the foot, and that's it.
Yep, that's it. That's over. Yep.
Damn it.
My friend Depression comes in and goes, "Hey, you want to start drinking now, or what's up?"
Let's go party, man. Hey, I heard there's a connection on ketamine. What do you got?
I heard K-hole. What's going on here?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. If you guys want to check out any of the nonsense we've done before, I know there may be a little confusion what's going on with the YouTube. The YouTube channel is just called Tokudon now. I'm uploading just the episodes to YouTube. It is just called Tokudon. That's where all that stuff is going to be instead of this weird hodgepodge of all my different stuff. Just Tokudon. It is all the video versions of this. If you did not catch us live at twitch.tv/KaijuCarl, you can head over to the YouTube channel Tokudon and follow us there, and you can catch up on all of your fun shenanigan needs that our dumbasses get into week to week. And you can see everything we've looked at. You can even check out our Amazon's episode. I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head. Yeah. And you can also check out my personal essay channel, Kaiju Carl. I have a new video I'm working on right now, kind of talking about how I got into boxing, actually, and how it relates to certain animes and things that just have gone on in my life.
People, you would be surprised, guys. You'd be surprised to know this one.
Yeah, like, you know that story. I know you know that story just because we talk all the time. But yeah, I'm excited and nervous to share such a intimate moment in my life with the world, but I'm excited to put the video out there. So
exactly, nobody to do it with than all of our crew here. You guys give us the confidence to keep doing this.
That is the Kaiju Carl YouTube channel. You can also check out the How to Get into Fighting Games video I did before. That is on there as well. And then Coffee Corner, whenever we do another episode of that, will eventually go up on its own YouTube channel. I'm working on it and starting 9,000 things like I always fucking do.
That's how we do.
But Kaiju Carl and Tokudon on YouTube, and then twitch.tv/Kaiju Carl on the Twitch. If you want to participate live, and when I'm not doing this with my good buddy here, I'm usually streaming some kind of nonsense. I'm not playing any more goddamn Visage. I'm not fucking doing it.
I'm proud of you, though. You did the damn thing.
I did the damn thing. I got through one chunk of it. I got to the second one, and we noped the fuck out of there.
It's all good.
So
it's all good. You
we're
tried.
Done with
you
that.
tried.
Yeah, I tried real hard. So you can catch me. I usually post up my schedule on the Twatters. You can go at Kaiju Carl on Twatter, and you can check out my schedule there. Usually it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday. So yeah, got some stuff cooking for streams. So we just started Onimusha 3. If you guys are into hack and slash style games, speaking of demons and turning into kaijin, we have Onimusha 3 that just started. And speaking of Godzilla, Jean Reno's in it.
I was about to say, or if you're just a fan of Jean Reno.
Yeah. Who may or may not be in the 1998 classic Godzilla starring Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno.
We did it. See how we did it?
It's all fucking Toku, baby.
Nailed it, baby. All right, we're out of here.
With that, we're leaving you with that nugget. Deuces, yo.